In this module, we'll take a look at content maintenance process. First of all, from the IT visibility side of things, based on Technopedia, but also touch on the other content libraries that Flexera possess and maintain for other purposes and to facilitate other use cases. Technopedia is the foundation for the technology intelligence platform and IT visibility's normalization and then enrichment of the normalized IT asset data. The technology intelligence platform will be leveraging all Flexera content libraries going forward, and its first incarnation will surface IT visibility data based on the Technopedia library. Other content plays a role and becomes datasets that are also relevant in the technology intelligence platform going forward. For instance, the application recognition libraries that you may know from the FlexNet Manager Suite on-premise or the Flexera One IT Asset Management solution. Application normalization in that context happens from a software asset management perspective, but we also have SKU and product use rights libraries and bundles of these as part of our content libraries. Software SKUs and product use rights are key to facilitate the software asset management use cases and license optimization in that context. And a special case with the vulnerability information and going forward also the software bill of materials, that is matched with normalized data as well. And here we bring data in from the software vulnerability manager or the Secunia research libraries, and for the SBOM material, and then of course also for open source coverage, we bring in content for the software composition analysis content. Technopedia is the world's largest repository of technology market information, and it is key to being that foundational repository that we then link the other content libraries into. It is best fit for the early use cases that we're going to facilitate in the technology intelligence platform, focused on vulnerabilities, sustainability, obsolescence, and so on in IT visibility facilitated use cases. So Technopedia and its key benefits aligns well with those early use cases that we're going to facilitate. It provides that common language and taxonomy that helps us reduce risk from lifecycle management perspectives as well as from software vulnerability perspectives. It helps us improve resource allocation and governance. It can reduce some of our manual effort investigating and trawling the internet for finding end of support, end of life type information across the various hardware and software manufacturers. And it takes that into the context by having discovered inventory and having that normalized so that we have one representation of an IT asset or configuration item, if you think of a CMDB context here. It drives down technology debt and managed technology lifecycle, but it takes it into the context of your hybrid IT estate. It helps you drive down technology debt and manage your technology lifecycle with the insight in your hybrid IT estate, but then enriching the data with market data that will facilitate and help you do this more efficiently. It helps you power sustainable IT initiatives that will be coming up for very shortly if you have not met that reporting need already. And it helps you get a second eyes on potential vulnerability exposure and will help you facilitate use cases related to patch management and so on. Technology intelligence is aware of the different views. So the idea of bringing in the Technopedia data first will facilitate a certain set of use cases. And in this diagram, we kind of outline the different views of a set of data and exemplifying that with Microsoft Windows 10. So the market version is 10, but from an IT asset management or a software asset management perspective, there is a difference between the editions that you have to manage and optimize against. So there's an enterprise and there's a professional edition in this context here. From an IT service management perspective, you are focusing in on end of support, end of life, obsolescence, and therefore you need the built version of that Microsoft Windows 10 in order to facilitate use cases related to end of support, end of life, obsolescence. And then furthermore, out to the right, for security purposes, you need to understand patch versioning. You need to understand again the build version and then potential patches that can be applied on top to avoid vulnerability risks associated with running a given version of that. So therefore you need to have a different set of granularity between some of your use cases facilitated with IT visibility versus what you're facilitating through IT asset management or software asset management, simply because it's a different level of granularity that is required in that context. So that is the reason why we have traditionally got different content libraries. We do need to link them together somehow. So this is a little bit of a background for why we have different content libraries, and the reason why Technopedia doesn't necessarily answer all the questions on its own. Our content libraries normalize and enhance data in unique ways, allowing different personas within our customer organizations to make the decisions they are expected to do according to their roles and their responsibilities. So it's key to understand that there are different outcomes that have to be driven. So to offer all of these different views in an easy to digest and consistent manner, the data layer in Flexera 1 had to outgrow its current shape, becoming that technology intelligence platform, serving all these use cases that we are discussing here, and evolving to support the entirety of Flexera's portfolio, and maybe more. The beginning of everything is the leader in the IT market information set. So Technopedia is that outset. It begins with data capture. We need to understand what is there. We need the technical researchers from Flexera to operate with automated collection of data, monitoring manufacturer websites, trawling the internet, using machine learning, and making decisions about the software and the hardware products, the patches, the potential vulnerabilities, and so on. So it begins with that data capture. Then Flexera's data intelligence team will curate this data. Its analysts will determine whether the new data actually belongs in Technopedia or not, and where it fits within the Technopedia taxonomy. There's human involvement here in order to make quality assurance, so the data is thoroughly examined by a quality assurance team, that data intelligence team on the Flexera side, which checks for typos, spelling, and grammatical errors, duplicates, inconsistencies, and missing data. So that's a key part of the process. And then after the QA process is done, the new data is then integrated into Technopedia's existing data sets. It is deployed as additions or corrections to the data and can as such be consumed to the users through the Technopedia library. End customers will provide feedback, and then that goes back into that curation process again. So if you as a customer finds gap in the data sets that we are providing, you can provide that feedback into that data intelligence team, and they will then again begin with data capture, curate that data, QA that data, and then potentially include that in the next day's release of the Technopedia content library. So Technopedia is really that foundation. It includes a lot of products from a lot of different manufacturers, both hardware and software. It goes down to the software release level, and it goes to the hardware model level, because that's where some of those use cases that we facilitate with IT visibility has to be done at. Like the lifecycle is linked to the hardware model and the software release. It does include a lot of open source software information as well. And then I think the most impressive metric here is that it will be released on a daily basis. And there's typically more than 4,500 updates daily to these data in Technopedia. So Technology Intelligence Platform and IT Visibility being the first product released on top of the Technology Intelligence Platform becomes that system of insight. Technology Intelligence Platform is a next generation extensible data and analytics platform that is powered by Flexera's proprietary Technopedia library. So combined with IT Visibility, it provides that system of insight for a holistic view of your hybrid IT estate. It will, as such, as you can see in this diagram, provide use cases, typical IT visibility use cases facilitating business service mapping, normalized hardware and software, categorization of hardware and software, providing obsolescence and end-of-life type information based on the normalized hardware and software, outline potential vulnerabilities and threats associated with the software releases that we are seeing in the hybrid IT estate, and provide sustainability set of data according to what the hardware manufacturers have released by now related to their carbon footprint. It will also, going forward, include software bill of materials as one of the new enrichment data sets that we're going to add into the platform coming shortly. And there will be new future data sets in the mix here as well, driving new additional use cases that may even reside out of IT visibility, but where you're then going to consume this data potentially in a non-Flexera UI or in your own reporting platform. It all begins with ingestion of discovery and inventory information about your hybrid IT estate. That includes hardware and software, but it also includes organizational structures and potentially custom data on your side that you need to contextualize against. So that is also key to understand that this is not limited to the technical inventory. There could be other data sets you need to combine with. And going forward, ITAM data, SaaS management data, FinOps data will be in the same platform. And as such, you can drive outcomes that sits typically outside the IT visibility context, but become those future use cases being facilitated with the technology intelligence platform, where we will ingest, normalize, and then enrich that data in order to facilitate those use cases. For now, as you can see on the right-hand side, think of Power BI as being the reporting engine included from the Flexera side, but then also APIs will be there to pull out data that are of interest to you in the context where you need that data.